Welcome to the finishing video for week 3 of Jolly July, which is an ornament extravaganza with Fat Quarter Shop and Priscilla and Chelsea from the Real Housewives of Cross Stitch. We have all been making wonderful ornaments. This week on Monday, this was my ornament. And so the way that I finished it was I mounted this ornament, my actual cross stitch piece with batting on top of 2 fabric covered sticky boards that don't have batting, and I put some vintage trim rickrack in between. On the back I used just a paper so that it wouldn't be so thick, and I put together my little ornament. So I'm going to show you how you make it. So the first thing I did is on the very back of my ornament, I'm going to draw a line that is 2 squares away from the edge because I like 2 squares to show. Once I do that, I am going to measure to see how large that is, and then I'm going to cut my first sticky board that size. And finishing is not really, like, I'm not perfect at it, so it's just what I make up as I go. So this one is 4 5/8 by 3 1/2. So I'm going to cut 3 1/2 by 4 5/8. And I'm using the same rotary cutter, and you can tell it's kind of dull because I don't want to ruin a new one. So okay, so that's my first sticky board. So the first thing I'm going to do is put batting on there, and I'm just going to use glue, just a little bit of glue. This is the non-sticky side. Put that down, and then I'm going to cut around to make the batting the exact same size as the sticky board. And I'm only putting batting on the very front piece because I don't want it to get too poofy. So I've only got batting on this top piece. So now what I'm going to do is lay this on the back of my gingerbread man, and I'm going to lay this around. I'm going to go ahead and cut about 1 inch around the whole edge of that drawn line though. So I'm going to fold over about that much. So I'm just going to lay, well, first I'm going to take the sticky off. That would help, right? And my fingers are all sticky wicky, so let's see. So I'm going to lay this as straight as I can, and I'm going to do 2 sides. Doesn't matter which side. And then I'll look and see, does it look even? And it does not. The one I did for Mondays, of course, worked the first time. But anytime you get on camera, you know it's not going to work. So give me a second, and Lily will probably just fast forward until I get it right. Okay, so now that's looking pretty straight, and I'm going to kind of pull this over, and it looks really good, actually. So I'm going to go ahead and cut my corners. So I have some scissors that I've ruined, so I'm not going to use those, and I'm just going to use my good scissors, and I'm going to cut a little square out. This really helps me fold over. I tried a couple different ways, and this is the one that worked for me. So now that I know that it's in the right spot, then I will cut my little squares off. And then I just kind of tuck in just a little bit, pull back. And I can tell that this is a little bit, it needs a little work, so I'll work that in a little bit. So then now I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side. Okay, and it looks pretty straight, but my corners are all funky. So I'm gonna go to my ironing table. I'll actually move the iron here so you can see what I'm doing. I'm gonna just pull this back and just press. And just kind of finagle the corners until they get down. And I just iron it down. I think the iron kind of helps with the sticking it down, and just finagle the corners. So I just finagle this until I get it really nice and I get the corners the way I want them. And then what I'm going to do is I am going to cut a square that is a half inch larger than what this is with my sticky board. So the easiest way that I found to do that is to lay your top piece on and then just measure half an inch, because I want about a 1/4 inch to show on each side. And then I will just cut to that size. So I'm just making sure it's pretty square. And so we auditioned some fabric, and I really wanted this to pop, so I've got green fabric. I'm gonna iron it real quick. I'm gonna put the sticky board sticky side down. And then I'm just gonna trim about half inch, 1/4 inch around. Half inch is pretty good. That gives me enough to pull down. I'm going to cut my corners again. And this time I'm just going to use some glue basted by Roxanne's. And just pull this over. Now I like to iron this in place just to set it. I don't know if you're even supposed to, I just do it. It makes it sit, so I just ironed it. It makes it sit down. I don't really know if you're supposed to do that, but I do. It looks nice and straight. So I'm gonna do these last pieces. The less I have in this little corner to come down, the more the corner will lie flat. So now we have our front piece, and we used sticky board and batting. The piece underneath is half inch larger. We used sticky board with no batting. And we put stitchery tape on the back. We're gonna pull that off and stick this down. Okay, we're gonna stick this down, and I'm just gonna try to get it, you know, centered. So now we have this piece ready, and I'm gonna take another sticky board that's larger, and this time I went 1 inch around. So again, I did the same technique where I just laid this down, used my ruler, made a mark, and a mark, and then what I do make sure that I'm just cutting straight so that I've got a rectangle that's nice and straight. Okay. So I'm going to get these little edges, mark my little marks off. And what we're going to do here is we have got this fabric for the inside. I'm going to iron it first. And then I think I want the candy canes to go this way. So I'm going to use this sticky board, no batting. And since the candy canes are directional, I'm going to try to lay that flat by using them as a line. Cut about 1 inch around. I'm going to cut the insides again. Use some glue and pull this back and do the same exact thing we did with the green. Perfect. And so we've got these pieces. We're going to add rickrack in between, but before that, I'm going to go ahead and put a piece on the back. So now we have our top piece and our bottom piece, and I'm going to go ahead and on the back, we're going to make a little piece to cover the back, just like we did here, and we're going to go ahead and put in our loop and glue that down before we put them all together. So for here, I just need it to be a little bit smaller. And I'm just using a paper that is, it's like a glossy paper. It's a little bit thicker, but not too thick because I feel like putting a sticky board on the back would be just too big. So I'm just gonna go about 1/8 of an inch below. And I am going to just cut about 1 inch around. So now we are just going to make sure this is just a little bit smaller. It's a little too big still. So I'm going to trim it a little bit more. And that's a nice size to go on the back, just to cover the back. I'm going to use a little bit of sticky tape. You could also use poster board. It would be something very similar. I just don't want the back to be too thick. You could use glue, you can do however you want. I'm just kind of doing all kinds of things, I think. And it's actually called stitchery tape. I just call it sticky tape because I think it's a cute name. So it's a double-sided tape. Okay, so I'm gonna lay that down. I'm gonna cut some corners out. Can't really iron these because this is paper, so, and it's the back, so it doesn't really matter as much. It doesn't have to be as perfect. So now I'm going to put sticky tape again on the back. Stitchery tape, sorry, stitchery tape. So I want to put a little tail. So I've got this little twine that I got at Joann's, and I want that to stick. So I want it to be about there. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use hot glue and just put that glue on there and just hope it sits, because I don't want this to come off. And then I'm going to put this on top. And the hot glue will come to the top. You can just pull that off with your scissors. These are scissors that I've already ruined, so. So that is the back and the front, and now we are going to put some rickrack between, and so that's going to give it a really nice pop. So I like to stop at the bottom, and there is a front side and a back side to the vintage trim. This is by Lori Holt. This is the large one, and this color is Cloud. And so I'm going to just try to put a little bit down. And just hold it in place. Look at the front, make sure you like it, and then turn your corner. Once I give it a little bit before you turn the corner, because if you turn the corner too fast, everything might get out of whack. So It's looking super cute. So what I'm going to do is cut the rickrack on top to the edge so you don't see that raw edge, and then I'm going to bring this little rickrack from the front to the back. Having something metal to put on the glue is good. So we've been using some scissors that we have messed up, and dull scissors, and then we have been using some tweezers. So that is looking really nice. I like it. So I even like how the rickrack came around the edge, which is surprising that I like that. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hot glue this down, since I've already got the hot glue gun out. You could use sticky tape, you could use anything. So and I'm gonna let this sit here a little bit. And ta-da, we have 2 ornaments. So I hope to see some ornaments like this. And I had so much fun coming up with this. It's super easy. And I hope you have enjoyed this week's Jolly July. See you next Monday.